Welcome back, everybody, to another Unfiltered Erie video. My name is Tom Laird, and today we're going to be looking at the voting divide in Erie County. Registration, turnout, mail-in ballots, the numbers that explain what is actually happening here. Right? Let's start with just the overall registration. In Erie County, there's just about 175,000 registered voters, about 76,000 Democrats, about 71,000 Republicans, and then there's 27,000 that are registered as something else or don't have a party affiliation. So looking at Democrat and Republican, the Democrats lead only by about 5,500 voters. So it's about a 3 percentage point edge, right? Margin of error. So on paper, this should be a very competitive county, a county where either side could win on any given election night. Again, that's probably why we're called the Bellwether County. We can kind of go either way. But things are starting to change. And again, if we look at the last couple election cycles, that's not happening. Let's talk about the turnout gap. When we look at the November 2025 municipal election, the overall turnout was 44%, about 77,000 ballots cast. And again, that sounds like a normal off-year number, but we need to look underneath that. Democrats turned out nearly 53%. Republicans turned out only 43%. That's a 10-point gap. So when you have such close numbers of registration and turnout is that far apart, the results were not close. And we saw that throughout municipalities in Mill Creek, in the city. And again, when we talk about the kind of county-wide elections where Christina Vogel beat Brenton Davis by almost 19,000 votes. It was a 25 percentage point blowout, and a seat that Brenton Davis won by 2,500 just 4 years earlier. So pretty massive change. And with what we're about to talk about, you saw even candidates that you thought were going to win, like a Harry Morgan in Mill Creek, lose because of this kind of mail-in, this early voting, this turnout issue that happened on the Republican side. But we have to start with talking with the mail-in ballot escalation and kind of the Dems' advancement with this compared to what the GOP is doing. So really, this is kind of how it gets worse for the GOP. And I need to kind of walk you through the last three separate elections to kind of show you patterns. In the 2024 local general election, about a third of Democratic voters used mail-in ballots. Only about 17% of Republicans did. So that was about a 2-to-1 ratio. In November 2025 municipal elections, Democrats cast nearly 15,000 mail-in ballots. Republicans, a little over 4,300, 3.4 to 1, right? Getting to almost where it's 4 to 1, right? It's growing. And right now, early on in this kind of primary season, Democrats have requested over 13,000 mail-in ballots in Erie County. Republicans have requested just 4,000. It's 3.2 to 1, and it's very early. Right? And that comes from state numbers that I pull every single day. So those are updated, and those are literally to today of where we're at. So again, that gap's gone from 2 to 1 to 3 to 1 in 2 years, and it's not closing. We'll see what happens here with this end primary. So let's talk about kind of municipality breakdown. So where kind of some of these ballots coming from. And again, this data comes from the May 2025 primary. It's kind of the election where we have confirmed mail-in ballots, and we have all this information that's true, right? It's already been done. So this all comes from state data. The city of Erie had 36,000 Democratic mail-in ballots cast, under 600 Republican, 6-to-1 margin. Mill Creek, about 3,300 Democrat ballots were cast, under 100,000 for Republican, 3.5 to 1. Get this, Harbor Creek, Fairview, Summit, Green, every single municipality in Erie County has a Democratic advantage on mail ballots. Every single one. Even townships where Republicans dominate on election day doesn't matter because the mail-in ballots just took away any of that advantage. Let's look at Mill Creek specifically. It's a story, right? This is the largest township in Erie County. It used to lean Republican. It was where kind of GOP candidates would build their margins to offset the city of Erie, at least one of the places that they would try to do that. Obviously, there's rural areas within the county as well, but that's over. Right? In the May 2025 primary, Democrats outmailed Republicans in Mill Creek by more than 3 to 1. Right? Those are confirmed numbers. They're from the voter files. So right now, in this, what we're looking at now for the 2026 primaries, Mill Creek has nearly 5,000 ballot requests, 3,600 Democrat, 1,200 Republican, so that's not changing. Mill Creek has more applications from alone than the next three municipalities combined. So they're really embracing, and the Democrats are really pushing mail-in voting, especially in Mill Creek, and they've been able to kind of shift and turn it. You saw that with the Harry Morgan election and kind of him losing. There's really kind of three Eries when you look at the vote, right? So let's look again at the kind of the 2025 primary, right? The city of Erie does vote blue. It's the net was D plus 5,000. Democrats win in mail and in person, right? And we kind of know that. The city of Erie has always been very blue, very Democratic. Rural Erie goes red, right? That's kind of been the overwhelming theme, right? The net was R plus Republicans plus 1,600 in the last primary in 2025. Republicans dominate in person, but even there, Democrats had a mail-in advantage of over 1,600 votes. And then there's the suburban ring, the Mill Creeks, the Harbor Creeks, the Fairviews, the Summit. This is where these kind of numbers really, really matter. Republicans actually won the in-person voting in the suburbs by 900. They won on election day, but Democrats had a mail-in ballot advantage of over 4,000 votes. So it was D plus 3,100. So all those suburbs flipped blue because of mail-in ballots, right? It's not because registration changed. It's because how people voted and whose turnout mechanism was better. And it's not even close right now. So again, let me say that one more time because I think it's that important. In the May 2025 primary, in the suburban ring around Erie, in-person votes, Republicans win by 900. Mail-in ballots, Democrats win by 4,000. Add them together, Democrats by plus 3,100. So again, it's not just that they won by that it added to a Democratic margin. It's that they won the elections because of them. So again, if that's not an eye opener to Republicans, and I know that they've been talking about it, I just haven't seen much action. I don't know what is. So again, it's definitely happening again right now. Right, for the May 2026 primary, over 18,000 people, and this is as of today is the 8th of April, in Erie County have applied for mail-in ballots. 17,000 of them have been approved. 13,000 of them are Democrat. Only 4,000 are Republican. Again, we're over 3-1. Mill Creek has nearly 5,000 requests, as we talked about. 3,600 Democrat, 1,200 Republican. Right, we look at the second legislative district. Right, that has the widest gap, nearly 3,800 requests to under 1,000 Republican, right, 4-1. When you look at the Donna Reese versus the Ryan Bizzarro race, it's not even close right now, right? Early voting, and again, it's the primary, I get that. But this is the trend that we're starting to really, really see. And if Republicans want to win anything, or at least even hold on to what they have to understand this. They have to start making changes. So again, what does this really mean? Right? If you're a Democrat, your voters are locking in ballots early. You're doing a great job of collecting those ballots and getting the word out and getting them back. Right? That's your advantage. Right? A return ballot, it can't be lost to weather or car trouble or a long day at work. And Republicans forget that. Right? But you have to send them in. Right? Even these Republicans that are getting them, we're also seeing that they're not sending them back. So a requested ballot sitting on a kitchen counter is worth 0. Right? And if you're a Republican, your voters, they're just not in the data yet, right? They want to vote on election day, which means you're down 3-1, and you need a massive turnout that you just don't have. So again, whether you're doing rides to polls and phone calls, it doesn't really matter. So again, these are the numbers. It's public data. I hope that this is an eye-opener for everybody to see kind of what has been happening. But I mean, this isn't just something that is like, oh my gosh, look at this. This has been a slowly evolving thing from 2-1 to 3-1 to maybe even going to 4-1 this year on Democratic to Republican early ballots. And until there's some type of change, we're going to see more one-party rule here in Erie County, especially in the cities and in the suburbs.